From the early days of Tito Ortiz and Randy Couture to the modern reigns of Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier, the UFC was an American showcase. But look at the sport today, and the picture has changed. The names are different now: Islam, Umar, Movsar, Ilia, Khamzat. Fighters from Dagestan, Chechnya, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan.
The dudes from like the Caucasus region, like all the guys from like Dagestan,
they've been at it for
Georgia, animals.
The UFC is signing warriors from the Caucasus region faster than ever before, while the number of new American signings continues to shrink.
Someone just printed something or posted something about the UFC's top pound for pound list, and 6 of them are from the Caucasus region.
The question is simple. Why? The first answer is dominance. When Khabib Nurmagomedov entered the UFC, he wasn't just another contender. He was the Storm. With his suffocating wrestling and unbreakable will, he didn't just win fights, he made world-class opponents look helpless.
We've never seen dominance like this. He's never been cut. He's never been dropped. We have never been in the Khabib Nurmagomedov fight and thought, oh my God, he might lose.
Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje all crushed under the weight of a man who retired undefeated at 29-0. But Khabib didn't just leave as champion. He left as proof that the mountains of Dagestan were producing fighters unlike anything the sport had ever seen.
If you want your son high-level wrestling, send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
3 years?
Yes.
That proof has become a legacy. Islam Makhachev now sits atop the lightweight division, the student carrying the torch of his teacher.
Islam's so fucking scary. I had a nightmare that I had to...
Around him, an entire generation has risen: Umar Nurmagomedov, an undefeated phantom stalking the bantamweight division. Movsar Evloev, a featherweight whose pace drowns opponents. Shera Magomedov, a striker with wild unpredictability. And in Georgia, Ilia Topuria, the undefeated featherweight champion who blends knockout power with star charisma. Together, they've turned the UFC roster into something new, a battlefield dominated by warriors from the Caucasus. But dominance inside the cage is only half the story. The other half is business. In the United States, the UFC has already won. The sport is established. Pay-per-views sell. Arenas fill. But growth means looking outward. Russia, Central Asia, the Middle East, these are markets exploding with passion for MMA. When Khabib fought, entire nations stopped to watch. When Islam defends his belt, millions tune in across Dagestan and Chechnya. When Topuria knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, Spain and Georgia celebrated like they had won the World Cup. The UFC sees this, and it knows every new signing from the Caucasus isn't just a fighter. It's a bridge to millions of new fans, new arenas, new deals. And then there's the fighting culture. In America, MMA is one option among many. A gifted athlete might choose football, basketball, or baseball. But in Dagestan or Georgia, combat sports are woven into life itself. Kids are pushed onto the mats before they can even read. Wrestling, sambo, judo, they're not hobbies, they're a way of survival. By the time these young men reach the UFC, they've already fought through national championships and grueling tournaments that break most competitors. They arrive hardened, disciplined, ready. That discipline shows in their mentality. Fighters from the Caucasus don't talk about fame or money. They talk about honor, duty, legacy. Khabib always said, "I fight for my father's legacy." Islam Makhachev says, "I fight for my people." It's more than a sport for them. It's a responsibility. That kind of hunger can't be faked, and it's why so many of these fighters walk into the octagon looking unshakable. Contrast that with America, where entertainment often sells as much as skill. Fighters like Conor McGregor, Chael Sonnen, and Sean O'Malley thrive on personality, trash talk, and social media. It works, it sells pay-per-views, it creates headlines. But from the UFC's perspective, you also need the other side, disciplined athletes who will fight anyone, anywhere, without the drama. The Caucasian fighters offer exactly that balance. There's also a practical side. Entry-level American fighters often push for higher pay early in their careers. They know their value, and they negotiate hard. Fighters from the Caucasus. For many, a basic UFC contract is life-changing. They'll sign, they'll fight whoever's in front of them, and they'll do it with everything they've got. For the UFC, that's reliable business. And let's not forget the showings. Khamzat Chimaev, born in Chechnya and raised in Sweden, burst into the UFC with 3 fights in 66 days, smashing opponents so badly that fans compared him to a cheat code. Ilia Topuria knocked out Volkanovski to claim the featherweight crown and now talks about becoming a 2-division champion.
Take on the #1 guy, not just for the world title, which he wanted to be. He's got to take out the #1 pound-for-pound fighter ever. He's ran into the divisions great ever.
Islam Makhachev is 1 or 2 defenses away from cementing himself as one of the greatest lightweights of all time. These aren't just fighters, they're stars, each carrying entire regions on their backs. Does this mean American fighters are finished? Not at all. The UFC was built on American grit, and names like Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Sean O'Malley still light up arenas. But the balance of power has shifted. The Octagon is no longer just an American stage, it's global. And right now, the loudest voices on that stage echo from the mountains of the Caucasus. The question isn't whether the UFC will keep signing fighters from the region. The question is, how far will this go? Will American fighters rise to meet this new wave, or are we witnessing the start of a new dynasty that will dominate for years to come? One thing is certain. Every time the UFC signs another fighter from Dagestan, Chechnya, or Georgia, the message becomes clearer. The fight game has changed. The future of MMA isn't confined to one country. It's global. And right now, its heart beats in the Caucasus. So I'll ask you this. Are we entering the era of a Caucasus takeover? Or will the next great American fighter rise to bring the balance back?